It's time for Real Talk with Brian and Dan, the weekly talk radio show dedicated to discussing important real estate topics, plus insight into the local community. With a combined experience of over 50 years as local real estate brokers from the Eastside real estate team at Keller Williams Realty Bellevue. Here's your hosts, Brian Levitt and Dan Edwards.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW. It is Wednesday, October 16th, 2019. We are so glad you are joining us today. We are also, as you know, live streaming on YouTube. Feel free to Google 1150 KKNW on YouTube and click the subscribe button if you like what you're hearing. So also, too, if you're watching this later or you're watching this on a podcast or YouTube, please do feel free to subscribe and follow the Eastside Real Estate team. We would love for your input, your comments on our streams. We appreciate it. Now, we have a great show. Right, Brian?
Right.
All right. So first off, we've got a great group of questions from our Stump the Broker. We're going to have a Real Talk segment, then we're going to have some questions. And in studio, we have Samantha Kunkel with Armadillo Painting and Nathan Goldman of Terra Builders. So we'll be talking a lot of building and houses and paint and colors and all kinds of good stuff. So, but before we get to our guests, as always, it's time for some Real Talk.
In a normal housing market, whether you're buying or selling a home, you need an experienced guide to help you navigate the process. You need someone you can turn to who will tell you how to price your home correctly right from the very start. You need someone who can help you determine what to offer on your dream home without paying too much or offending the seller with a lowball offer.
So we're actually approaching anything but a normal market. The media has tons of stories on the impending recession or trade war with China and a constant political upheaval. Each of these situations could dramatically impact the real estate market. To successfully navigate this landscape today, you need more than just an experienced guide. You need Brian Levitt, Real Estate Sherpa.
Dan Edwards, Real Estate Sherpa, yeah. A Sherpa is a member of a Himalayan people living on the border of Nepal and Tibet. Renowned for their skill in mountaineering, Sherpas are skilled in leading their parties through the extreme altitudes of the peaks and passes in the region, some of the most treacherous trails in the world. They take pride in their hardiness, expertise, and experience at very high altitudes.
Well, they're much more than just guides. And this is much more than just a normal market. The average guide isn't going to do. You need a Sherpa. You need an expert who understands what's happening in the market and why it's happening. You need someone who can simply and effectively explain it to you, your family, and others. You need someone who will guarantee that you're making the rightest decision. I kind of changed that a little bit, right? the rightest.
The bestest
decision, even in challenging times. So you know a guy by the name of Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey, that's right. Dave Ramsey is a financial guru who advises when getting help with money, whether it's insurance, real estate, or investments, should always look for someone with the heart of a teacher, not the heart of a salesman.
Yeah.
One of the things Dan and I always talk about is that we don't sell people homes. We help them find a home they want to buy.
So when you think about the Sherpa aspect, Brian, and you know, I think of a leathery senior individual, right? Old man, leathery, you know.
Leathery, there you go.
And I think part of when I think about that is somebody that has experienced a lot, right?
Yeah, and I often relate it to my clients as the boots on the ground, person who's doing the heavy lifting, who's doing the detail work and has the knowledge. I mean, that's the Sherpa role of really knowing the ins and outs and keeping their climbers safe.
Yeah, and you know, a Sherpa basically comes in and they say, you know, here's what we recommend, here's what you do. I've never climbed a mountain that needed a Sherpa. It might be a good experience, right?
It might.
But the one thing I know is for certain is that they can't make the steps for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
You have to kind of walk in the path, you know, you have to go in the direction and ultimately make the decision. But in order to have somebody that's been up the mountain many, many, many thousands of times, so Brian's, 38 years in the business. So when it comes to real estate Sherpa, he is like the grand poobah of the real estate Sherpas. Been up the mountain many times.
Up and down, yep.
So what about being that in that position do you think is the most valuable that you bring to the table?
Well, it's the experience. It's really knowing the ins and outs and not just being able to say, hey, that's what I think, that's my gut, but why? Go into the detail, knowing where to obtain the data. Example is I never expect, one of the lines I always taught my kids is I'm blanking on it.
Oh, too bad.
True authority withstands questioning.
Yeah.
True authority withstands questioning. So if I really take a strong position for a client, I'm not offended when they ask me to tell them why and in detail and provide the data.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if you need a real estate Sherpa, you know how to get a hold of us. You go to the Eastside Real Estate Team, find us on Facebook or YouTube.
Sounds good. That concludes our Real Talk. Hey, next up after the break, we'll be talking to Samantha Kunkel of Armadillo Painting. Please join us after the break.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093. Or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Admit it, there's a home remodeling project that you've been itching to have completed, but you've got no idea how to start. Maybe it's a new kitchen, bathroom, room addition, or a basement remodel. Nathan with Terra Builders helps people just like you navigate the entire home remodeling process, including the planning, design, and permit application. Nathan has been remodeling homes since 2008. To schedule an in-home consultation, call or text Nathan at 206-499-3890 or email nathan@terrabuildersinc.com. That's 206-499-3890 or email Nathan at TERRA-builders.com.
So are you thinking about Thanksgiving and hosting your in-laws while staring at the crack in your dining room ceiling, the dirty, scuffed-up baseboards, and outdated accent color you painted 10 years ago? Armadillo Painting provides full-service painting services, allowing you to focus on what's important to you and not your home to-do list. Let them do the painting work. They take pride in taking the stress out of updating and maintaining your home with fresh paint. When working with their customers, they take the time to customize the estimate to the needs of each customer and only consider the project complete when they have confirmation from the customer is fully satisfied. Referrals are the foundation of what they do. To schedule an estimate with them, well, you can visit their website at armadillopainting.com and book online, or email them at office@armadillopainting.com, or even call their office at 425-641-5465. They look forward to speaking with you.
Be sure to support the sponsors of your favorite shows on Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW. Who are you?
Oh, yeah. I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan. Now, you can find more information about the show at the eastsiderealestateteam.com or on YouTube. Look up the Eastside Real Estate Team. Our first guest today is Samantha Kunkel of Armadillo Painting. Samantha is the owner of Armadillo Painting, a local residential and commercial painting company that has been in service for about 15 years. Samantha is a longtime resident of the Eastside. After attending Newport High School, earned her bachelor's degree of international studies at Seattle University. In 2004, she started Armadillo Painting with a passion for helping residents and commercial clients improve, renovate, and create new spaces with a superior interior and exterior painting services. She grew up watching her father as a general contractor and, for the last 15 years, has worked tirelessly to build Armadillo Painting into a company that adds unique value to the marketplace and makes a positive impact on the community every day. Samantha's passion is for creating opportunities for others and maximizing people's strengths, and it has allowed her to build a company with a diverse and talented skill set that delivers great value to homeowners, contractors, property managers, and much more. I've known Samantha for about 14, 15 years. Welcome to the show, Samantha.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So when you're not building a painting empire, what do you do for fun?
Well, these days, one of my favorite things is to go on the trails with my dogs. There are so many great trails in the Newcastle, Bellevue area, and what better time than fall? It's just beautiful.
This is a dog-friendly show, so what are your dogs' names?
Jasmine and Yuki.
Nice.
Yes.
What are they?
They're both Labradoodles.
Oh, my
nice.
gosh.
Yeah.
Doodles. I don't know. I have a hard time with doodles, but you doodle fans out there, I appreciate you because you're bringing less allergies to our homes. So.
So I just read a great article about hikes in the Newcastle area following the coal mines.
Yes.
All the coal stuff. You ever seen any of that up
Yep.
there?
And if you go, there's the Red Town Trail and kind of where Mutual Materials used to be.
Yeah.
If you go along that trail, it's cool because you see all the old bricks in the ground, and then you can make your way all the way up to Red Town where you can see where the coal.
Wasn't there like a missile silo up there or something like that?
I don't know about that, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of history.
Maybe that was my imagination.
Redmond, the old missile base in Redmond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. So, since this is a show about real estate, we like to ask our guests to share a memory of the home you grew up in. What do you got for us?
Memory in the home I grew up in. Well, one of my memories is just being out in the backyard on our swing set, eating the homemade popsicles that my mom used to make, and just overall happy, sunny summers.
And that was in Newport Hills, right?
In Newport Hills, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, longtime resident. So, how did you get started in the painting business?
That is a great question. Well, I watched my dad growing up as a general contractor, and then it kind of segued into painting. And so that's, it started as a family business, and my involvement grew, and over the years, it's become really my full-time passion. So.
What's the process of working with Armadillo Painting?
Well, for our residential customers, usually they would just call, either go to our website, call us, email us, and a lot of times people, might just have a question of, I don't know if it's the right time to paint, and so they don't even really know yet, and so they just have some general questions. So that's kind of the beginning of the process, is just getting more educated about what it means to hire a professional painting contractor for their work.
So, what about commercial folks? How do they?
For commercial, it's usually through a lot of work with contractors. So we have relationships with contractors in the area, and they'll reach out to us for pricing on work that they have, or we have relationships with property managers and facility managers that have commercial repaint projects in the area.
Okay, so somebody makes a call. And they set up a consultation. Does it cost money to have somebody get a consult?
Nope, absolutely not. No cost.
So free consultation, and then obviously a bid comes. How long does that take?
It usually for a residential, it would be a 30-minute process, 45 minutes out at someone's home, and then we get that pricing back to them usually within like 3 days, maybe less. For commercial projects, the timeline is a little bit longer, usually 7 to 10 days, and then we can develop some pricing for what they need.
So when you establish a price at that time, how long is that bid good for?
For our residential customers, it's usually good for that season. So if we are looking at something like, say now it's fall, a lot of people like to get ahead of the schedule. People that are planners and are already thinking about next spring, and they want to be first on the schedule. If we price it now, and we know that they want to do the work next year, then that price would hold through the middle of the spring.
So going into the project, you would say, hey, we want to do it here. You'd factor that into your pricing.
We would, yeah, and we would probably cut it off at the end, towards the end of the summer, so that they would want to do the work in that beginning part of this coming year.
Okay.
So,
and then if somebody books a job, then let's say it's an interior job, I'm guessing, right? Because you got to kind of, then how far out are you booking right now?
Right now for interior, we actually had quite a bit of a rainier September and October than we were expecting. So yeah, we have availability for interior work, and it's a great time. People are thinking about Thanksgiving, Christmas, family gatherings, and people are looking around realizing that they want to freshen things up. So people are calling us for that kind of work. And yeah, so we have availability.
Okay.
So.
And then I'm going to throw, because I'm just walking you through the process, then I'm going to throw in a little curveball here. Is maybe it's a reputation, but sometimes contractors get started and they don't get done quickly. We had a couple listings that took a little bit longer. How do you guys handle that kind of stuff?
I think that final you're right. I mean, that's kind of the last taste that someone has in their mouth of doing the work and then getting to that final piece, and there might be just one thing that's left, and then they don't hear back from the contractor. So part of our process is, well, first of all, we want to make sure the project is staffed, consistently throughout. So we, if we quote somebody that it's going to take them a week to paint their house, obviously excluding unforeseen weather challenges or something like that. If we say it's a week, it's usually right about a week. And if there is any delay, we will communicate that, and so that there's no surprises, so that people know what to expect.
So no ghosting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really the most frustrating part.
It is.
They want to know what's going on.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Communication, and just keeping people, and just doing our best to anticipate if we even think that, we anticipate that there may be a delay, just letting them know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're working through, so that people know what's going on. And then at the end, it's just making sure that we have that opportunity to walk through with the customer and really, give them that chance once we've done our completion and we've walked through and checked our own work, giving them that opportunity to really look and really saying it's okay, because I think a lot of people, especially here in the Pacific Northwest, everyone's really nice, and it's uncomfortable sometimes to have to say, I don't like this, or can you do this better, or it looks good, but I don't want to be picky. It's like, it's okay. It's your home. It's okay to be picky. So if there's something that we could do to make it better or make it perfect, then tell us what it is. And the worst we could do is say, we can't, but if we can do it better, then we want to do that for you.
So I've got a great story to insert here. Okay, about
here.
3 years ago, my wife and I hired Armadillo Painting to come out and paint the exterior of our house after much research on colors.
That was my next
much
question.
research on colors. And we've always just had that challenge indoors, right, of it being too dark, right? So my lovely wife spent and anguished many hours over the color. And about halfway through the paint job, I reached out to my wife. I said, hey, so what do you think? The front looks done. And she's like, oh, no, that's the primer. I said, no, that's the finished color on the front there. She's like, no, that's just the primer. It's too light. It's like, no, it's not. And so I made a quick phone call to Armadillo Painting, and I said, we got to do something. And they were very accommodating. We ended up repainting the front of our house, so that was fun. But it didn't really extend the job too long. And at the end of the day, now my wife could drive home to our house and be happy and not regretting. So she was afraid to speak up, but obviously it was the right thing to do. But along that lines, it was one of those hard lessons learned. But it was great to work with a company that understood and then actually talked us out of actually painting our garage door, which was good because it looks good.
So the question I had is, do you, during the consultation process, do you assist with color selection?
Oh, good question.
We do make it known that if someone wants additional help, we do have color consultants that we partner with.
Sure.
So totally dependent on what the customer feels.
Depends
that they
on
would
where
like.
they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, I'd say most frequent for me, we're preparing a home for sale, and the stager provides that. But there's times when I have people call up, they're looking for some help, they want a painter, and that's good to know that you've got help. With
we definitely do, because some people, and on interior as well, some people are, maybe they're not working with the designer, but they have picked out furniture that they want, and it is a big decision. What color should they paint their walls, and they want it to match and look good.
So Dan, what do you got?
Oh, I was going to say, what's the favorite part of what you do?
Favorite part of what I do? I think the exciting part is figuring out what the strengths are of everyone on our team so that we can, hit home runs. I mean, everyone has different skill sets, and there's a wide array of different painting skill sets that could be needed, whether it's painting cabinets or painting larger exterior properties or really fine finish on interior millwork, and being able to have that diversity on our crews so that when someone says, can you do this? We say, yeah, we can do that. And I think that's exciting because I know other painting companies that don't have such a wide array of services. So.
Right.
So I assume this time of year with the weather changing, you're mainly lining up interior jobs?
We are lining, we are looking for interior.
And when's the transition point to exterior? What kind of weather do you need?
We need weather above 40 degrees and dry. So sometimes
Good
that's
luck.
March if we're lucky. But in all reality, usually April is kind of when things start rolling.
So if like you said, you say, hey, we want to get our exterior painted, we'd like to get in the front of the line for the first clear weather, then that would be something that somebody could do now too.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right. So in reading the bio, we talk about commercial painting. We haven't talked about a lot of that. So what are the types of commercial jobs you guys do?
We do tenant improvement work, office spaces. We've been doing a lot of retail work. So whether it be like an example would be we've been doing some Fred Meyers lately. So
big project.
yeah, so doing some Fred Meyers. We've done a lot of the Orange Theory Fitnesses in the area. So smaller.
What color of paint do you guys use?
At the Orange Theory, lots of orange.
Lots of orange.
Lots and lots of orange. So smaller retail spaces. We've done, lots of office spaces. So just a variety of large and small.
Cool. What sets Armadillo Painting apart from your competition?
I think what sets us apart is really our commitment to, fulfilling our promise and making sure that at the end that we know that our customers are, satisfied. Because that's our reputation, and that's how the business, that's the foundation, really. So, yeah. I mean, when I say it, I mean it, that we really are committed to making sure people, feel happy with the final product.
That's great. Samantha, please tell our listeners how to reach you.
So if you are looking to reach us, you can either go to our website. If you're looking to book something, you could book online. Or if you just have some questions, you can do a general inquiry to our office at armadillopainting.com email. And you can call our office as well, 425-641-5465. You can message us on Facebook as well.
Pretty accessible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
Great
you.
having you.
All right. So after the break, we have Nathan Goldman of Terra Builders in the studio. We'll be going over some home remodeling misconceptions and myth busting. Stay tuned for more.
Did you know when you pay rent, you're actually paying someone else's mortgage? Are you tired of missing out on owning your own home? Fact. Homeowners on average have 40 times the financial net worth of renters. The Eastside Real Estate Team has been helping many first-time homebuyers find and buy their first home. They specialize in customer service and put you first. They listen first to what you're looking for, and then they take the time to make sure their clients understand every aspect of the home buying process. If owning a home has been your dream, the Eastside Real Estate Team can help you. For a free, no-hassle consultation, call 425-200-4093 or find them online at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Are you worried about finding reliable care for a loved one? Interim Healthcare provides certified professional caregivers so that people who are ill, disabled, recovering, or elderly can remain safe and comfortable in their own homes. If you or a loved one needs reliable and quality care, call us at 425-274-3720. Again, that's 425-274-3720.
It's about time. Do you find you never have enough time for what matters most to you? Our comprehensive It's About Time virtual productivity program teaches you the secrets of long-term, sustainable, and life-changing productivity. We provide monthly webinars, implementation challenges, resources, community, and accountability. You'll learn tips, techniques, and strategies to help you more effectively and efficiently manage your email, tasks, time, workspace, priorities, projects, and resources. You'll implement organized systems and productive habits that work. You'll finally get better results at work, experience less stress, have more time to dote on your clients, time to spend with your family and friends, take better care of yourself, pursue hobbies, and get more out of life. Do you crave more time for what matters most? Are you ready to take control? Isn't it about time? Well, to start having more time for what matters most to you, call us at 206-579-5743 or visit our website for more information at www.itssimplyplaced.com. Again, that's 206-579-5743 or visit our website, www.itssimplyplaced.com. Join today because really, it's about time. Your time.
No other station delivers this much variety. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW. I'm Brian.
And who am I? I'm Dan.
Hey, Dan. Our next guest is Nathan Goldman of Terra Builders. With over 15 years of experience in the home remodeling industry, Nathan Goldman's expert advice as well as his passion for remodeling homes is unmatched. Founded in 2008, Terra Builders has operations in both Seattle as well as Vancouver, British Columbia. His projects range from bathroom renovations to full-scale home remodels. Nathan's understanding of the remodeling process grows with the uniqueness and challenges of each project. He sees every experience as an opportunity to make his client's vision a reality. Nathan places a high level of importance on quality and construction and the uniqueness of each individual project, making sure the client is fully aware of each step of the process. It is important to Nathan that each client knows their project is in the best hands while watching their dream home come to life. Nathan lives, breathes remodeling, and is excited to share his passion and expertise with his clients. Thanks for being on the show with us today, Nathan.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
So tell us what you're doing when you're not remodeling.
When I'm not remodeling and owning my own company, probably my biggest hobby is traveling.
Awesome.
I've got a tally, and I'm up to close to 60 different countries, and
wow.
I've visited some of them multiple times. It's my biggest passion in life is just get me on a plane, and preferably in business class or first class, and get me some champagne, and I'm happy. Get me into an airport, and I'm happy.
So what are some of your favorites?
Oh, man. My probably top three would be Japan, Thailand, and Brazil, all for extremely different reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
But this isn't the Howard Stern show, so we'll have to.
Well, we'll leave you alone then.
Yeah.
So we always ask each guest a little bit more about the home that they grew up in, because this is about real estate and homes. So tell us about where'd you grow up and a fond memory.
Mm-hmm. So I grew up in a city called Richmond, British Columbia, which is a suburb of Vancouver, British Columbia. And the area of Richmond that I grew up in is Steveston, which is a Japanese fishing village, or at least it used to be before World War II.
Wow.
I digress. A very beautiful place. And we lived in a place that wasn't. My mom owned it, but didn't. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was the most beautifully decorated or renovated place, but I think it was somewhat strategic on her part because, looking back, my brother and I were kind of terrors, and she waited until we were grown up and out of the house until she
have nice
renovated.
things,
and now,
right?
yeah, now it is nice. But she was a total. The house was always very clean. Mom liked to clean house, and there was always awesome food on the table and meat and potatoes because we're Scandinavian. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So how did you come up with the name Terra?
So Terra, it's a Latin word for earth, land, ground, and you have to do preparatory digging or other work, prior to building something, also known as breaking ground. So it's a bit of a play on words, I guess. We like to keep things fun and playful here at Terra Builders.
Awesome. So Terra Builders is the name of the company. Tell me, walk us through a day in the life of Nathan at Terra Builders.
Okay. Oh man, there's nothing really typical about my day. Probably what's more typical is what I do in a week, and some of those things might include meetings with new and existing clients, a lot of other various meetings on job sites that we need to do to keep projects moving on schedule, and doing walkthroughs with clients and designers. I like to keep connections going with my various sub-trades and suppliers and make sure that those relationships are all in good standing. And it's super important to me that I make sure that I'm constantly nurturing all of those relationships that I've established over the years. And if there's anything typical or constant about my days, it's probably the driving and traffic that I can't seem to get away from in the city.
Yeah. Does that mean during the day, are you traveling between Canada and Seattle?
Not typically. I'm focusing more on the Seattle side of things, and I have a great team of people up in Vancouver that can run the show for me most of the time while I'm away. So while I'm here, I do periodically pop up and find excuses to go up and visit my family and friends whenever I can, though.
Okay.
Yep.
What types of projects are your clients hiring you for these days?
So we've done everything from bathroom remodels to room additions, house raises, and pretty much everything in between. The most common projects for us are full house or condo remodels. Most people these days want to remove the wall that separates the kitchen from the dining room or living room as well. So that's, as you know, in your line of work, that's something that we do quite often. Most of the projects that we do also typically include, gutting of the entire space and remodeling bathrooms, the kitchen, installing new millwork, countertops, appliances, replacing the plumbing and electrical finishes, installing new tile, possibly creating new lighting plans, replacing the flooring, new baseboards, door casings. It's
runs the
never-ending.
gamut. That's
Yeah.
great.
Is there anything you can't do?
We don't really do handyman work or repair work. That's something that we steer away from. The smallest project for us that we'd probably take on would be a full bathroom remodel. Then that would, entail completely gutting it and replacing like all of the tile and fixtures. So not just doing like little cosmetic upgrades or anything like that. So it's got to be like at least a full scale bathroom.
So a comment you mentioned, like opening the kitchen to the main living area. We get that all the time. And one of the questions is that a load-bearing wall?
Yeah.
Do you consult
Yeah.
with clients about determining that and what needs to be done to
For
make that
sure.
a safe?
Yeah, we would. Yeah, we would never take down a wall until we actually have an engineer come in and scope it and see what's going on in there, and then sign off on that and give us something with a stamp and seal on it to said it was okay to bring down. And if anything was load bearing, then we have a structural engineer involved, and he comes up with some structural drawings for us that indicate and show us exactly how to.
Did you assist
support
the
it.
client with that process? Is
Yeah,
that what
for
I'm hearing?
sure. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we have people like that on hand that we can just bring in and consult with.
I know for a lot of times, I know Brian's walked through homes, many homes. I've walked through many homes, and sometimes you walk in there and you're befuddled by the best thinking, right? Like the remodel that was like, this was their very best thinking.
Mhm. Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And you walk in there. How do you prepare for a remodel if somebody approaches you and you're kind of looking at it like the design work or the idea may make the home, functionally worse, right?
Well,
how do you handle
most of the projects that we do, I would say, I mean, basically every project we do, we do bring in a designer. With our ideal client is somebody who wants the full package and wants the hand holding and wants the home. They don't want. We don't really work with clients that pick out all of their own materials and pick out their own paint colors. I mean, it's just that type of client the type of client that can actually do that is so far and few between. And the project the outcome of the project just doesn't really end up looking as good as it could as had we brought in a professional designer and consulted with one.
So, what are the typical steps required to get a project to construction readiness?
So obviously, it would all start with an initial consultation with a potential client, and they would hopefully decide to move forward with us for planning and design services, and what we would refer to as the planning phase of the project. And during that phase, we're consulting with various other professionals such as designer, architect, structural engineer, and so forth. So we'll work collaboratively with these professionals to develop the plans and permit drawings for the project. And then once we've applied for and while we're waiting for the city to issue the necessary permits, the designer would be working on finalizing the design finishes such as flooring, millwork, countertops, and all sorts of other finishes, right down to the paint colors of the walls and even the grout colors for the tile. And all of these details get added to the drawings, and then when we can send those drawings out to the various suppliers and subtrades that we have established relationships with, then we start getting quotes and we develop a construction budget. And then once everything's planned out, we would finalize the project schedule as well as a renovation agreement and decide on a start date. And there we go.
Ooh, renovation agreement. You heard that?
Yeah, we know that one. Yeah.
We had a guest on who was an attorney who talked about that, and you know this, right?
So important.
There are so few people that hire a contractor without getting a written agreement. And that's
it's
crazy.
Yeah.
I know Samantha gets written agreements.
Yep.
I didn't bring that up.
So Nathan, what do you think makes you a good contractor?
That's a great question.
Time to shine.
It's definitely not an easy job. I think that there are some key attributes that you've got to have to be successful in this business. Having excellent communication skills. You've got to be able to manage your time very well. You've got to be really organized. You've got to have the ability to always be thinking like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of where you're at now in all of your projects. And if you ask me, like, what's the most common feedback that you hear from your clients, it's like, you did what you said you were going to do when you said you were going to do it. And whether it being like showing up to a meeting on time or providing information when I promised, responding to emails, calls promptly or texts. I know that it's a common theme for a lot of contractors to kind of go MIA, missing in action, during a project, and some even before a project starts. And so that's one of the most important things, I think. And a lot of designers also give me feedback, and they say they love working with me because they know that, when they provide me with drawings and specs for a project that they've designed, I'm not going to go cutting corners by changing their designs to save time or save costs. And they tell me that, this happens all the time. And so when they do walkthroughs with their clients and with our clients, they notice, and they notice that like some fixtures or tiles are not going to be subbed out for something, for other than what they spec'd out.
So what surprises your clients the most about home remodeling?
The biggest thing and the funniest thing probably is like the dust. It usually catches them a bit off guard, just because the whole process is it's just a dusty, messy ordeal. And we use like barriers and zipper kits to protect common areas, when we're working in condo buildings and do daily cleanups. But even with all that, like somehow like dust somehow seems to find its way out from even contained areas.
And it's funny for the listeners out there, good word of advice after remodeling, change your filter. Change your air
filter.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Something else is probably when I let them know, that their ideal timeline for completing their project probably isn't really feasible. And most people, that's usually because most people underestimate all the time necessary to properly plan for a project. And, the old adage comes to mind, like when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The more time we spend planning before we start construction, the project becomes much more predictable, and the potential for cost overruns and schedule overruns are just greatly reduced.
What are some common misconceptions about home remodeling?
A couple of the most common misconceptions are like one, every project finishes way over budget, and two, every project finishes way over schedule. And there are a number of reasons why these things can happen over the course of a remodel, but there are lots of ways to help mitigate the risks, which is why we spend so much time in the planning process before we start a new project. Like we don't even swing a hammer until we fully estimated the project. And what I mean by fully estimated is, we've submitted the drawings that include all of those notes and details that I was mentioning earlier to suppliers and subtrades so that we can get fixed prices and quotes back from them. And a lot of other contractors, they'll just like rush through this process and start a project just because they want to start it as quickly as possible. But really, that's a recipe for disaster. And you can keep the project on schedule a lot better once you've got all that solid planning in, and because everything just becomes much more transparent and predictable. The scope of work is just really well defined by that time and understood by everyone involved. And I think that the emphasis, I think that the emphasis that we place on planning is something that sets us apart from our competition.
Yeah, I like that. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's great.
Right.
So last question, which areas do you serve?
So we pretty much all over the greater Seattle area. It really just depends on the project and scope of work. So I think what I tell people is the best thing to do is just have somebody have them get in touch with us so that we can have that initial conversation and about the project and just go from there.
How do people get in touch with you?
Calling or text message is probably one of the best, and I can be reached at 206-499-3890, and email is also good. Nathan at terrabuildersinc.com.
Terra Builders Inc.
Terra, Terra, and then builders with an S, inc.com.
All right. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks very much.
After the break, we'll have some final thoughts. We'll have a little Stump the Broker and something to do on the weekend. So join us right after this break.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093 or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
So are you thinking about Thanksgiving and hosting your in-laws? While staring at the crack in your dining room ceiling, the dirty, scuffed up baseboards, and outdated accent color you painted 10 years ago? Armadillo Painting provides full-service painting services, allowing you to focus on what's important to you and not your home to-do list. Let them do the painting work. They take pride in taking the stress out of updating and maintaining your home with fresh paint. When working with their customers, they take the time to customize the estimate to the needs of each customer and only consider the project complete when they have confirmation from the customer is fully satisfied. Referrals are the foundation of what they do. To schedule an estimate with them, well, you can visit their website at armadillopainting.com and book online, or email them at office@armadillopainting.com, or even call their office at 425-641-5465. They look forward to speaking with you.
Admit it, there's a home remodeling project that you've been itching to have completed, but you've got no idea how to start. Maybe it's a new kitchen, bathroom, room addition, or a basement remodel. Nathan with Terra Builders helps people just like you navigate the entire home remodeling process, including the planning, design, and permit application. Nathan has been remodeling homes since 2008. To schedule an in-home consultation, call or text Nathan at 206-499-3890 or email nathan@terrabuildersinc.com. That's 206-499-3890. Or email Nathan at TERRA-builders.com.
Bringing good vibes to the Puget Sound and the world. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan.
Our next segment is called Stump the Broker.
Stump the Broker.
Ooh. That's where the listener can call in and ask any real estate-related questions that you may have, and we will do our very best to give you the right answer. We posted earlier on this morning on Facebook, and we'll be answering your questions. You can call us now at 425-373-5527. I'll get our first question out of the way. I think I get asked this question almost daily. It's the most common question we get, and that is, hey, Brian, how's the market? So, hey, Dan, how's the market?
It's amazing.
Yeah, there's never been a better time to buy.
Never been a better time. Well, if you listened to our interview last week with Pat Stone, I learned something, that we are in a positive seller's market. It's not a hot market, and it's not a balanced market. Mm-hmm. So right in between balanced and hot.
And see, I think something I found interesting is the concern, everybody's talking about the R word, recession, and that his comments about supply and demand, that we're just not building enough homes, so that demand should, the expectation is it'll hold our prices up. And,
and I thought consumer sentiment really has affected things. Wouldn't you agree? Is if consumers are thinking it's a buyer's market, they act like it's a buyer's market.
Right.
When in reality is, we listed a couple of homes, a home in Redmond, and there are only 3 homes like it in the vicinity, right? Mm-hmm. So that's actually pretty slim.
Right, very slim.
So you get choice 1, choice 2, or choice 3. And that would not be a buyer's market. A buyer's market means you've got somewhere between 6 to 12 homes to choose from.
Right.
So so at the same time, though, if a buyer acts like it's a buyer's market, then it does keep things, the market time's a little longer.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a question. Let's see.
Yeah, go for it.
This is from Steve K.
Okay.
If a home is in contract pending or contingent status, should I still put an offer just in case?
You can't win if you don't play, but the way I typically handle that is if it's pending and I have a buyer that's interested, pending means they've accepted an offer, they're in escrow, they're waiting for financing, they're moving towards closing. I'll call the listing broker and say, hey, tell me about your deal. How solid is it? What do you got going? Mm-hmm. And that broker, their job is to represent that seller. And I usually get a very honest answer. Hey, it's solid as a rock. Don't waste your time. Or you know what? They're a little wishy-washy. And, I'll take that information, go back to my client and say, hey, let's put in an offer. What do you got to lose?
Yeah, you can easily say, call someone and they say, we're getting weird vibes from the lender, because the pending part is the one where the ship is almost sailed. Like it's almost going, gone. And if you call that broker, I mean, you can't, like you said, you can't win the game if you don't even play. If you call the broker and they say, yeah, we're getting some weird mixed signals on financing, they would love to have you available, right? Because that would put them in an ability to kind of have you slide in there.
It's called a backup offer, and the second offer would be subject to the first offer failing.
Yeah.
And so if it does,
now, contingent is different.
Very different.
So the pending one, I would say, maybe 85% success rate, meaning 15% fallout at the most.
Right.
On a contingent offer, though, it actually has a clause called a bump clause. So what that means is when an offer comes in, the current buyer on that offer has usually 3 days.
3 to 5 days. It's whatever they've negotiated to remove their contingency, either by demonstrating the ability to obtain financing without having sold their home. And just to back up a step, contingent means it's contingent upon the sale of their existing home. Mm-hmm. So they got two choices. They can show evidence that they can close the sale without selling their home, or they can deliver a fully executed contract with acceptable terms. Those items are outlined ahead of time to the seller to remove that contingency. If they can't do that, then they get bumped, and then that second buyer is free to move into first position on it.
So I would say you have a higher chance of getting a backup offer on a contingent home accepted than you would on a pending offer.
Yep. Yeah?
Yep. Okay.
So one other misconception I'm going to throw in there, that I've heard this for 38 years so far, that you can't bump a contingency with a contingency. The seller on a contingency can accept anything they want. Oh. And so there's no restrictions on what that seller will accept. So that's a common misconception. That you can't
because think about it. It could be that they're watching the buyer not adjust the price on a house, have it overpriced, and meanwhile they're tied up, and they come in and they see you, and you're like, look, we're going to underprice it. We're going to sell it quick. As your real estate Sherpa, we can guide you through that.
That's right. So, Dan,
yes,
when selling a home, is it generally acceptable to allow a couple days after closing to move out?
Ooh, that's a good question. It depends, right? We go back to our friend Mike Markert. It depends. I would say a lot of people will fall on one side or the other. Is they want to own the house and possess it, or they're like, okay, I'll own it, then you stay longer. I would say most of the time, though, it's usually possession on that day.
On closing.
Yeah.
And, one of the things, too, that Dan and I do is if we are going to have a delayed possession, we do a rental agreement. So there's no misunderstanding. So it's a little extra paperwork for us, but it protects. It's like talking about the contract with the remodeler. So many people do these things on a handshake. We don't. We don't take anything for granted. So if there is a delayed possession, it's a rental agreement for that, even if it's only a day.
Gotcha. So something that's happening in our industry, and this question is what is this issue with buyers now not having to pay commissions? What do you know about that?
Well, sellers.
Or no, I'm sorry, buyers having to pay the commission.
No, it's negotiable. What's happening is there's a lawsuit about sellers being required to always pay a commission. Historically, sellers have paid the commission, so buyers, in essence, get the service for free. Which the argument against that is, guess who's bringing cash to the table? It's the buyer.
It's the buyer.
So, So what it does is it's really going to, I think it's a good thing, it's going to really bring transparency to the industry, where right up front, I've always done this, but I have the conversation with my clients about how I get paid. And with the buyer, if there's a situation where a seller says, hey, I'm not paying a commission, no way, no how, I have a conversation with my buyer about, how I work, what it takes. And, some brokers, if the seller's not paying commission, they won't show the house. I will, after I've had the conversation, agreed with my buyer, which means I've got to bring value to the table. I've got to demonstrate to them why I'm worth it, why the Sherpa earns his keep.
That's right. That's right. And I think in the absence of value, then we just become commodities, right? And I know Brian and I have worked very hard in our careers to build value to what we provide our clients. We want to make sure there's value. I've got another question here. With the current Seahawks run, can they continue, or are they going to lose to Baltimore this weekend?
I'm a fan, and I'm rooting for them. I think they can take it all the way.
Yeah, you think so?
That's
so optimistic.
That's my plan. Yep, the eternal optimist.
Yeah, well, it should be interesting, right?
Yep.
All right, well, that's all the questions we have. Like I said, you guys are welcome to reach out to us on Facebook, YouTube, our website. Send us your tough questions. Send us those hard ones. We want to answer their questions. We want to be your real estate Sherpa. All right. So let's see. Next up, this weekend. What we got going on this weekend, Brian?
Well,
What are you doing?
What am I doing?
I got some open houses.
I'm doing a little getaway with my beautiful wife.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, we're going to go sit and do some business planning. We'll go to a fun place. and
That's a good
we'll
call.
do a little business, a little fun.
Awesome.
And map out a lot of our plan for the next year or so.
That sounds great.
Yeah, you know, they say prior proper planning prevents poor performance.
Prior
Proper planning prevents something poor performance.
Better said you than me. So this weekend we have actually we got a great handful of listings. If you know of anybody out there looking to live in a beautiful condo it's like in between Green Lake, Greenwood, and Northgate. 300,000 condo. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it's in great shape. 325. That is active and on the market. Reach out to us if you're interested. Also, we have out in Redmond, we have a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, split level in the Ames Lake neighborhood. That's for $648. What do you got?
I want to hear about the man pad.
Oh, the Man Cave. Yeah, that is. It's in Sammamish. This is a Danbury Estates, which is near Beaver Lake. It's a 2840 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, completely remodeled. If you go to the eastsiderealestateteam.com, look at our featured listings, you'll see it's got quartz waterfall island countertop plus live edge, walnut live edge table, like a little breakfast nook area. Travertine surround around the the Blue Star 8-burner professional grade stove. It's fantastic. Like, if you know somebody that's loves entertaining and having a lot of people over, it's got a pool table in the living room. Like, who uses a living room anymore?
That's a good question. It really is.
I've had clients say, I do not want a living room. Don't sell me a house with a living room.
Yeah. Great room. You know, I think part of it, circling back to Nathan, knock that wall out.
Yeah.
Have a great room. Nobody uses a living room.
Yeah, and it brings the entertainment space together because, as you know, most people are living in a situation where they want to show people what they're cooking, right? Used to be those galley kitchens, and the kitchen that was closed off is because they were making a mess cooking, and then they bring dinner out to the formal dining room. Well, this one does not have. Oh, it doesn't have a formal dining room. Nope, it doesn't. It just kind of that great room kind of bleeds into the living room. Yeah. And there's a killer 2D and 3D projector with a 10-foot screen in the bonus room above the garage. The garage is wired for 2 Teslas, so if his and her Teslas, you got all those stuff. It's only $1,175,000
in that neighborhood. That is
neighborhood.
A great buy.
Yeah.
And
if you want something a little bit more traditional, we're launching another property about 10 doors down. That's your traditional John Buchan home. I can't talk about that yet because it's not listed. It'll be listed tomorrow. But if you're looking in Sammamish, in the Beaver Lake area, and you're looking for 4 bedrooms plus a bonus room and more of a traditional look, come see them both. They'll be open this weekend. So that's your house hunting.
There you go.
Right there.
That's excellent.
All right. So, Brian, you have some final thoughts?
Final thought, I was going to just expand a little bit on the Sherpa. I've read over the years, most recently, the idea of online services eliminating the role of the real estate broker.
Mm-hmm.
But we're calling it the Sherpa. I've called it the boots on the ground. The local in-depth knowledge.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you place a value on that? One of my favorite stories is time after time. I mean, I'll share one. A person calls me up. They're interested in a house in a certain neighborhood, and I immediately know, what's going on because I've been doing this so long. Typical buyer, 5, 7, 10 years, they're buying a house. Then I do this every single day. Got a call on one recently, Ravensdale. Oh, I look it up. Oh, that's about a quarter mile from the rifle range. You guys like?
Do you like
gunshots?
Shooting guns?
Yeah. Yeah, and
maybe,
that
maybe
buyer,
not.
no, run away.
Okay.
Or an area where I know the water quality. I know that there's arsenic in the water. I've shared that one before because that's pretty dramatic, pretty clear. But the boots on the ground, local knowledge. It's.
Well, that's the image I get when I think of a Sherpa. I think of experience, and you cannot replace experience with just knowledge. You actually have to have those actions happen. And I learn something every day. Hey, Brian, do you like wine?
I do.
Do you like walking?
Yes.
Okay, well, check it out. This weekend in Ballard, October 19th, is the Wine Walk. You can explore the neighborhood. It's the inaugural Visit Ballard Wine Walk, and that's 10 shops, 10 wineries in the historic downtown Ballard. Let's see. It looks like you get a commemorative glass for $5. Or you can bring your own tasting glass. I'm going to bring the big one.
Bring the tasting mug.
Big tasting growler.
Oh, there you go.
So proceeds from the wine walk, it goes from 7:30 p.m. until 10 p.m. on the 19th. Proceeds for the Ballard Wine Walk support projects, programs administered by the Ballard Alliance, which is a nonprofit neighborhood organization. For more details, visit ballard.com/winewalk.
Cheers.
All right.
So that concludes our show for this week. I want to especially thank our guests, Samantha and Nathan, for taking the time to speak with us. It was a great show, don't you think, Dan?
Awesome. Had a great time.
Thank you all for listening. And before we go, I've got a little real estate quote that I always tell my clients. In real estate, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.